We understand that getting a YouTube community guideline strike can be disappointing and worrying for creators. We know that creators often don't break the rules intentionally and just want to get back to making great content. That's why we've put together options for you to learn about our guidelines and resolve warnings you receive when violations do happen. Let's walk you through what each of these options are and what they mean for you and your channel. First, a quick reminder about what community guidelines are. YouTube's community guidelines outline what type of content is and isn't allowed on YouTube. There are a number of community guidelines, such as our impersonation policy, child safety policy, harassment policy, and many more. And these policies apply to all types of content on YouTube and help ensure our community stays protected. So now, let's walk through what happens if you violate YouTube's community guidelines and some options you have when violations happen. We've designed a system with guardrails in place to ensure creators have sufficient opportunities to learn from mistakes and make more informed decisions about their content without fear of penalty. When you violate one of our community guidelines, you'll first receive a warning. Once you're notified about your warning, you can review it to find out what policy you violated and what next steps you can take. You'll have 3 options. Option 1, you can take a policy training, which will allow your warning to expire after 90 days if you don't violate that same policy again within that time frame. Option 2, you can appeal the warning if you think the violation was given incorrectly. Or option 3, you can do nothing and keep the lifetime warning on your channel. Note that there's also flexibility with these options. You can choose to take the training and still also decide to appeal. Or, if you appeal and it's rejected, you can still take the training at that point. In the cases where you choose not to appeal, or you don't successfully appeal, we strongly encourage creators to take the training because it comes with additional benefits. It not only allows you to potentially remove the current warning from your channel, but it also grants you an additional warning if you violate a different community guidelines policy, so you have more opportunities to learn and avoid account restrictions in the future. Let's walk through an example of what this looks like. Let's say you violate one of our community guidelines for the first time. You'll receive a warning and you'll be presented with the 3 options. If you complete the training and don't receive any community guidelines violations for any policies within 90 days, your warning will expire and you'll be back to good standing. If you complete the training and you do receive a community guideline violation for a different policy within 90 days, you'll receive another warning and you'll have the chance to take a new training specifically for that policy. If you choose to not take the training and do nothing, any additional violation for any policy will result in a community guidelines strike. Note that after your warning, if you do violate the same policy again within 90 days, you will receive a community guidelines strike, even if you completed the training. Remember, if you originally decide to do nothing but then change your mind, you'll always have the opportunity to appeal or to take the training. Now let's walk through what happens when you get a community guidelines strike. On your first strike, you won't be able to upload, stream, or make certain edits on your channel for 1 week after you review the strike. After the 1-week period, we restore full privileges automatically, but the strike remains on your channel for 90 days. If you get a second strike within the same 90-day period as your first strike, you will not be allowed to post content for 2 weeks. If there are no further issues after the 2-week period, we restore full privileges automatically. Each strike will not expire until 90 days from the time it was issued. 3 strikes in the same 90-day period results in your channel being permanently removed from YouTube. We understand mistakes happen, and many creators don't violate our policies intentionally. So we hope this system gives creators the chance to learn more about our community guidelines, to help prevent violations moving forward, and to keep our YouTube community safe. To learn more about community guidelines and their enforcement, check out the links in the description. Thanks for watching.
Hey creators, let's talk about titles and thumbnails. The first things your audience sees when deciding what to watch. Think of them as your content billboard. You want to tell a story, spark curiosity, share a sneak peek, and attract more viewers to your videos. We'll cover things to keep in mind when designing thumbnails, tips for writing titles, and how to use analytics to see how these elements are performing. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about thumbnails. Before you design, consider who your target audience is. If you're catering to your subscribers, you may want to feature familiar elements, like a picture of you or your pets. Or if you want to appeal to a broader audience, you can use universally recognizable elements and ask yourself, what value is your video offering the viewer, and how can the thumbnail help communicate that and encourage viewers to watch? Be accurate. It's also very important that thumbnails accurately reflects your content, which can lead to better watch time. On the flip side, a misleading thumbnail can lead to decreased watch time, as viewers might click off as soon as they realize it didn't accurately represent the content itself. Go for the emotional impact. Think about how you can express a story or an emotion in your thumbnail. For example, include a moment of peak discovery, conflict, or excitement to hook your viewers. Take pictures during your shoot of faces or relevant props so you have several options to include when creating your thumbnail. And finally, familiarize yourself with our thumbnails policy in the Help Center to make sure yours doesn't violate our community guidelines. Now that you're done planning, here are some design tips to help you bring your idea to life. Make the design pop, even on small screens. A lot of viewers are on mobile devices, so make sure the thumbnail still looks good and readable, shrunk down. We recommend 1280 by 720 pixels, which is a 16:9 ratio, and saving it as a JPEG, GIF, BPM, or PNG. Use the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is a guideline used in visual design. It states that if you divide your image into thirds, both horizontally and vertically, the main subject or element should be where these lines intersect. This helps create interest in the composition of your thumbnail. And don't make the design too busy. Dynamic use of color and composition can help catch the eye, but too much can be overwhelming. Strike a balance when using lots of color or elements. And remember, tastes change over time. Don't be afraid to experiment with new thumbnail designs and even update old ones that haven't performed well to increase your video's appeal to new viewers. Next up, let's talk about titles. Just like with your thumbnail, your title can help a viewer decide if they want to watch your video. You can think of titles in two categories: searchable and intriguing. Searchable titles are more straightforward, like how to tie a tie. These cater towards viewers' pre-existing interests and appeal to those who are searching for specific topics. On the other hand, intriguing titles focus less on searchable keywords, but instead create a strong curiosity in the viewer. And they often have a more creative relationship with their accompanying thumbnails. An example of an intriguing title could be something like, "This is not yellow." These types of titles often appeal to viewers who may not be looking for topic-specific content. But both types of titles can be successful with viewers. It's up to you to decide which works best for the content you're creating. No matter which you choose, keep these 3 tips in mind as you're writing. Number 1, be accurate. Your title should represent your video accurately, or else viewers may stop watching, which can affect your discoverability. Number 2, keep it short. Viewers may only see part of your title, so put the most important words at the beginning. Say things like branding and episode numbers for the end. And number 3, limit the use of all caps and emojis. These can be really great elements, but use them sparingly to highlight important parts of your title. Okay, now that you know the general best practices for thumbnails and titles, let's walk through how you can use analytics to see how yours are performing and to find inspiration. When evaluating the effectiveness of your titles and thumbnails, click-through rates and watch time in the first 24 hours after uploading can help give you an indication of how a video is doing. Click-through rate represents how often viewers watch a video after seeing a thumbnail, and watch time can tell you how long they stuck around. To check engagement with your subscribers, it helps to look at click-through rates in the subscriptions feed. For general audiences, it can be helpful to look at the click-through rate on home, suggested, and search, since this is where viewers often discover new videos and channels. Also, keep in mind that as reach increases, it's possible that click-through rate will decrease, since a more casual audience is potentially less likely to click on your video relative to your core fan base. What's most important though is to look at the overall performance of your video. So not just click-through rates, but also things like audience retention and overall watch time. If you have a high click-through rate but low watch time and retention, it can mean your title and thumbnails initially track viewers, but that attraction isn't kept up with the actual video content. Or it can mean viewers felt like your title and thumbnail wasn't accurate. It's important to not only attract viewers, but also make sure they stick around to watch your content. And finally, if you're looking for inspiration, check out the Audience tab in Studio Analytics. Here you can find other videos your audience watched to spark ideas for your thumbnails and titles. And use the Research tab to explore what your audience and viewers are searching on YouTube. We hope these tips will help you create strong thumbnails and titles for your content. Be sure to check out the links in the description for more info. Thank you for watching.